Man, it is night and day as far as how much attention the San Antonio Spurs have been getting, dude. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where no one had Spurs on their mind at all, in which it got so bad that the media, the mass media, started to just support Kawhi Leonard after the whole situation. Like once the Spurs started becoming mediocre, the the framing changed a little bit. You had a few people that were still, pretty solid on what happened and was honest about it. Like they didn't really like how it went down. They thought it was unprofessional on their side. But there was a group of journalists that came out and just started just fully saying the Spurs don't know what they're doing and Popovich is old and it just doesn't seem like that's the case anymore, man. Looks like there's a lot of positivity pointing our way, and I want to take a look at what this is.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, big shout out to Spurs reporter for posting this. Let's just dive straight into this. So apparently this is from 2 weeks ago, and they talk about the Spurs so often till it's kind of hard to tell when I'm overlapping, man, because I'm constantly watching this the same thing in which we go over it. But I'm pretty sure this is new. I don't think we went over something that was 4 minutes long. I don't know. Let's listen. I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit. All right, just a little bit. 4 minutes kind of long. All right, let's listen. Wait, do we have closed captions? All right, you guys just gotta listen. All right.
The Spurs won 22 games in large part because they put out a laughable starting lineup for the
That's what I'm
first.
saying. And the way they played down the stretch of the season was not
Actually, maybe I should, so you guys can see it.
representative of a 22-win team.
Like they had to play Zach Collins at 5 just to kind of prove to Wemby, like, bro, we don't have to call you a center, but you're going to be the only big on the floor for us. And then the Sohan point guard experiment thing was just
We had to what? Hold on, I'm getting upset.
Wemby, like, bro,
What?
full starting lineup for the
That's what I'm
first.
saying. And the way they played down the stretch of the season was not representative of a 22-win team.
Like they had to play Zach Collins at 5 just to kind of prove to Wemby, like, bro, we don't have to call you a center, but you're going to be the only big on the floor for us.
Oh, we're narrativizing a little bit. I'll give my thoughts about it in a second.
And then the Sohan point guard experiment thing was just ridiculous. I mean, so they did some crazy stuff to start the season. Again, their most used lineup was a significant plus, and then they added two. Obviously Chris Paul's not anything close to what he used to be.
Okay, let me go back to what he said. No, I don't think that happened at all. The Spurs didn't play Zach Collins just to prove to Wemby, because I know what he's saying is what he's getting at is when Wemby said that he's not a center, right? Wemby was like, I'm so many different things. I don't want to just be put in one box. I don't think it was that at all. I think the Spurs just felt that way. Like, it made sense on paper. So Wemby coming into the league, he could do so many different things, obviously, right? Offensively, we know that. Defensively, he can do so many different things. But the idea was the fact that you could bring in Zach Collins, a veteran, and he could stretch the floor and give Wemby a little bit more room to operate. Unfortunately, Zach Collins' shooting wasn't up to par with what we expected. His decision making was fine as far as passing the ball, dishing it, or whatnot. But as far as stretching the floor, that did not happen. And it got to a point where it just became a little congested. And then they were like, all right, nope, Wemby, you got to be center. But I don't think it was that Wemby, they had to prove to Wemby something. And also saying the Jeremy Sohan experiment was ridiculous. I know that fans are split on that. Spurs fans think that it was ridiculous. Some think that it was good. I'm on the fence that, I'm on the side of, I think it was really good. I thought that it actually helped him quite a bit. I think that he's a better passer now. I think that it helped his basketball IQ, and I think in the future we'll see it a little bit more clearly. But obviously, he was point guard for a good chunk of time, and he struggled a lot. But I do think that he sees his teammates a little bit better now. No longer, as soon as he's going past half court, putting his back to the basket, right? He's a little bit more confident in his dribble and everything there. So I just don't agree that it was ridiculous. I don't agree with that. And even when Trey Jones did go into the starting lineup, the Spurs didn't immediately start winning. Okay, we were still struggling quite a bit. So
I'm not sitting here telling you Harrison Barnes is an all-star, but they added two quality.
Is there a world where they could be a play-in team?
yeah,
There is.
Yeah.
I think we're a year early there, but And the world is simply, hey, Victor Wembanyama is a first team
That's what I'm saying.
NBA player who is defensive player of the year and is, an efficient, I don't know, 27 point.
The thing is to be a play-in team, it's going to take them to more than double their win total. I don't think so. But
never happened.
Conference. If they're in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, that's never happened before? I didn't know that never happened before. I'm going to take their word for it that never happened before. And I do agree. To be in the playoffs, I agree.
I think they absolutely would be. There's just so many solid to good to great teams in the West.
Yeah, I mean,
I think would be a playing team in the East. I don't think they will be in the West.
Yeah, I mean, that's really fair. What it comes down to. We're talking about how deep this group of teams is ahead of them. Like, they'd have to leapfrog 3 or 4 of those teams just to get to 10th.
You're right. I'm sure you're right. I'm just saying I don't put limits on Victor.
Well, okay. If you tell me that they finished 10th between a combination of Victor improving, them getting better, and these teams ahead of them having injuries and falling off some, yeah, like I think there's a chance.
Well, the reason I don't think that's going to happen is because they secretly don't want that to happen. They want to be high in this lottery, and I think the last thing they want is to back into a first round exit. So
I feel like it's one of those things that you just kind of like sit back and watch it happen, right? I don't think it's one of those where you will actively try to tank or anything. I think the Spurs will legitimately sit back and watch it happen. I don't think Pop cares at all. I think he is focused in on winning, doing his job, helping his team or whatnot. I don't think any of the players are thinking that. Our front office, however, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things where if the Spurs are good enough to make it into the play-in or they're good enough to make it to the playoffs, then we're further ahead than we thought. Maybe we don't need that lottery, pick or our own lottery pick, right? But if you don't, and you don't do as well, then sure. I mean, you get that lottery pick, but it doesn't matter either way because you got the Atlanta Hawks one. Atlanta Hawks, they're going to be bad. I don't think they're going to be good at all. I think we'll be better than them.
I suspect they're going to put themselves in a good position to have one more crack at a high draft pick.
If they want to be high in this lottery, the best thing they can do is play hard against the Hawks.
I know, but one of the things that happened last year was they did underestimate how good Victor was going to be right away. I shouldn't say underestimate. They were protective of him. They were being protective of him, and
they were trying to sit him a lot. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is
and that might not be the case this year. That's another thing. Dang, that's a good point.
How many minutes is Victor going to play? Like, are they going to bump him into the mid-30s? Are they going to try to keep?
Well, that's what happened. As the season went along, they started playing him more, and they started playing a lot better.
Well, and to Tim's point too,
that's a good point. And now we're an even better team because we have a better starting lineup and we have a better bench, a much better bench. Yeah, that's a good point.
See what level Victor gets to, right? Can he become a 35 or better % three-point shooter? He's pretty much consistently been in the high 20s in every competition he's been in for a couple of years.
What was he last year? He was 33. Well, 32.5. So, not that far off, I guess.
Years now. Like, that's got to get
I think after the All-Star break, he shot 33.
So I'm just saying, over the course of the year, he shot poorly in the Olympics too. He obviously does a lot of other stuff well, but and his stroke is good. Like, he's going to hit shots, but like.
I'm gonna take a look at this. I'll let them talk, but I'm gonna take a look at this.
Well, he's got to consistently hit more shots. He's got to get the turnovers down. Like, if he wants to take that kind of leap, like, look, Luka, we've talked about. Second year on, he's been first team All-NBA, right? If you tell me Victor's first team All-NBA next year, totally realistic goal for him. But if he's going to do that, those are the areas where we've got to see improvement.
Okay, he is right. Yeah, in the Olympics, he shot high 20s. Let's see here. We got 25%, 60%, 42.9%. Oh, these two games actually screwed him over bad, though. I don't want to say it's misleading. I don't want to say the guy was super misleading, but yeah, like these two games, good God, 0 for 6 and then 1 for 8. That's what really screwed him. It looks like his percentage was decent outside of those two. Against USA, it was 37.5%. So when it mattered, he was on. He was on. 11 for 19 overall. He was on when it mattered. But yeah, obviously you got to work on it still.
Improvement, because we know the defense is going to be great. And obviously he's got the ability to do just about everything on the court. It's just cleaning up stuff if you want to get up into that kind of territory. And if he does, like that year, the Mavs finished 7th in the West. Like, Yeah, they could certainly be in the play-in if Victor's a first-team All-NBA player this year and he's in the MVP conversation. Like, yeah, they could be in the play-in for sure, no matter how deep the West is.
Yeah, I think he actually brought up a really good point. Whindhorst, that is, brought up a really good point. Oh, I'm trying to put Whindhorst on the... Yeah, this guy. I thought he brought up a really good point saying, hey, Wemby also didn't have a lot of playing time, and the Spurs were protective of him, okay? I think they were very protective of him. And I don't think that's narrativizing at all. I think that was kind of a overall consensus around the NBA. Like, we need to make sure that he stays healthy. He's not accustomed to putting on these amount of minutes per game. There were many games in which he would have like a weird fall, a weird twisting of the ankle or whatever, and he wouldn't be hurt, but it was also one of those things where it was like, oh, you know, it's be careful, you know, we don't want to overexert, you know, his rookie season. It's a lot on him. And we've always been that way, right? We've always been that way, being cautious of players' health. And, you know, Wemby being the first of his kind, I think they were very, very cautious. But yeah, going into this season, I agree with them. I think that, you know, if you do get Wemby in that higher range of minutes played, they are a better team. But you might not even, it felt like last season, Wemby had to play the entire game for us to win. Like that's just how it felt, right? We didn't have enough firepower. But now I think the addition of Chris Paul, the addition of Barnes, the addition of Stephon Castle, moving, this is big, I don't see a lot of people talking about, moving Julian Champagnie to the bench is huge. Not saying that that's because he's a bad player, but because I thought that he is a fine player, and I thought that he was pretty high basketball IQ, really good 3-and-D, just wasn't suitable going against other starting lineups. And I think that he's actually going to shine quite a bit coming off the bench. A lot of sneaky athleticism from him too. So I'm really looking forward to this upcoming season. And yeah, I agree. I mean, the Spurs, he said it never happened before, but doubling it would be insane. That would be insane. But I'm going to stick with it, man. I'm going to stick with it. It was a weird season last season. I'm going to stick with, I think the Spurs could legitimately, with all those close games that we lost last season, could legitimately be in the 40s. I really do believe that. And I know, as he said, Chris Paul isn't who he used to be, which is true. He's not who he used to be. But good God, I mean, just 50% of what Chris Paul used to be is good enough. Okay, I mean, good gosh, man. What did Eminem say? What did he say? What was that lyric? If I'm half as good as I was, I'm two times better than you'll ever be. I think that's what the line was. I don't know. I'm a terrible Eminem fan. Good guy. I need to do better. All right. Anyways, I'll give it to you guys later, man. Let me know what you think about this video. Until next time. Bye.